Hi guys, today I'm going to introduce more about how you get scholarships in China. I'm going to look at the exact scholarships and information such as the stipend, what your entry requirements are, and go into more details about each of the scholarships. And I'm also going to introduce the university scholarships and the CSC scholarships and our service and an arrival guide, what do you do when you come to China, and I'm going to answer your questions as well. So why am I actually talking about this? I didn't get a scholarship. I actually paid, when I went to university, the fee was only £1,000 a year, which is $1,200. And now I think the fee has gone up. It keeps going up every year. But actually I think that it's really important that students, that university should be free for people who can't afford it. And I think it's so important to have good education. And so I want to give this information away for free to help you guys. But at the same time, I don't think it's essential anymore to go to university because you can learn so many things online. So if you're determined, if you're willing to read books, you don't have to spend loads to go to university. You can also just study online. You can move to interesting places. You can get around interesting people. And you can even do what I did, which is go to top university like Peking University and enroll in the Chinese language program, which is really, really affordable, and be surrounded by all these extremely talented people. Okay, so I'm going to introduce more about the China Scholarship, the CSC Scholarship, and this is the website for the CSC Scholarship. So I know that from previous videos I've been speaking to a lot of you guys, and there are a few of you who are massive scholarship hunters, so it means you're looking everywhere for the best scholarship and how to get the best scholarship. So I'm going to go into more detail about that. So this is the China CSC website, main website. So on here you can find all the information about the scholarships. So I'm going to look through in this China government scholarship, and then you have here the application guide. So the application guide really just explains everything about the scholarship and how you get the scholarship and what it means. So if you go through the guide, it looks through the different types of scholarships. So you have the Great Wall program, the EU program, depending on where you're from, the different programs, exchange program, and then it mentions here about the scholarship coverage. So it will cover the tuition fees, it will cover accommodation, dormitory, it will cover this amount per month depending on what program you study. So 2,500 RMB, which is about $350, which you can actually live on that in China, in Chinese universities, because it costs about you can spend about $15 a day in university canteen on food, and if the tuition is free and the university accommodation is free, then you can live on that, or you may need to ask for some extra money from your family, or maybe you can work for a bit before. But this can really help students. This can really help you go a really long way in China if you're living on the university campus. And then it covers medical insurance, which is the standard medical insurance, which is quite good actually in China. It's like a reasonable insurance. Healthcare and it covers quite a lot. So this mentions all of the eligibility, and so you can see here that this is like you need to be of not Chinese, you need to be excellent, and then there are certain ages. So if you're bachelor's, you have to be under 25. If you're applying for a master's, you have to be under 35. For a PhD, you have to be under 40. And these are some other requirements for other programs, but I think the majority of people are probably applying for these programs. And if you're applying for an undergraduate program, you need to have HSK level 3. If you're applying for the extra other levels, you need to have a higher HSK level. And then it mentions here there will be extra requirements, and then the application should be done on this website, and and then it just basically explains it all here, which is, you can actually watch my other video about which explains it, but this has a lot of the information. And then if you have any questions, depending on where you're from, you can email this contact message, this email address, or you can give them a phone call. And I think I've actually spoken to them before, and they can give support. So I think it depends on when you call them. So I think if you're in Europe, you probably want to make sure to call them in the morning time in China. They're more easily accessible than the afternoon. I mean, generally, people at universities in China, it's better to call them in the mornings if you're trying to contact them. So that is the CSC scholarship. So now I'm going to introduce another scholarship, which is the university scholarship. And this is Shandong University is one example. And this is like a program type B. And every university, for their own scholarship, they have their own types of scholarship. And so let me just check if this has any other information about. I think it mentions the date, right? Yeah, so this doesn't really mention the date, but I think it's now or around April 15. So, but you really want to apply as soon as possible, and you can just check the date specifically on each one. So that's the main CSC scholarship application, and then each university has their own application way of applying. So this is the they will have two different types of each university will have two or more different types of scholarships. They will have the CSC scholarship, which is like the type B, which this is the one that Shandong has written about on their website. And so you can go to every single university website and check out the type B scholarships on their website, and they will have it written out here. And this is usually the case that undergraduates only can get the scholarship in Chinese in China. So that seems to be quite a standard thing across pretty much every university. But then if you want to study in English at masters, then you can do that, or PhD. PhD is like sometimes a bit harder to get. You need to get the supervisor, which is quite an extra process, which is kind of more challenging. You have to go through an extra step of like finding the supervisor and then getting accepted. Sometimes you have to do that for masters as well at top universities. But yeah, this mentions what it includes. So it's basically what it includes on the other one that I showed you, and it includes the tuition fees, accommodation, living allowance, which is similar to what I shared here, and I think this is gonna link back to the same link that I just shared, but in Chinese. So you can check the English one here, or you can practice your Chinese if you want to learn Chinese. You can use it, just put it in the Google Translator. And then it mentions the eligibility here, which is, it seems like this is almost a copy of the other website. And then it has the other requirements here. And this one has the deadline now, which is the 16th of February 2024. So this looks like this was the intake for last year. So they don't seem, I didn't seem to find the one for this year. So you might want to just keep checking and searching Google or searching for each university for this year. So they should, it may be similar, but often they will have some updates every year. So it's well worth checking every single university. And then they have the requirements for the HSK level, which is different according to each university. So yeah, what will happen is when you apply to the program, you can apply through this university. You will fill out the application form on the CSC website, which is this website. You will apply on here, and then you will get the application form. When you log in, you'll choose scholarship type B, and then you will submit it, and you will send it to the university here. So it will tell you here. How you prepare it. So yeah, the university is responsible for reviewing the application materials and approving the list of recommended candidates for the scholarship, and then they will be sent to the China Scholarship Council. So this is the Type B example, and then this is the Type A example, which is an example, just a random example from the Indonesian website, which is published last month. And so this is an example of one, which is the China-Indonesia scholarship, and every embassy will have their own information about this. So this has 20 spaces, or 20 seats, and then they want to focus more on these sectors, because maybe this is area that is like cooperation between Indonesia and China. They have this mutual agreement, and it doesn't include the flights. And then this mentions the eligibility, which looks like it's exactly the same as the standard eligibility that we just went through. And you can fill out the form, and this is all the documents. And then from now until the 23rd of February. And so usually what happens is they will process it the scholarship just after the Spring Festival, and the Spring Festival changes every year, which is why the deadline may change every year. So yeah, it shows you that for this you will go to this website, then you will fill out the Indonesian agency number, which is this, and then you will then send it to the Indonesian embassy, the Chinese embassy in Indonesia, and they will send all the recommended students to the China Scholarship Council for review, and then you can check the results by yourselves between July and August, and then you will get the form if you get accepted. And yeah, this is just the thing that you can't get multiple scholarships. And so yeah, some more information there, such as like more in details instructions, and then the foreigner examination form. So this is in Chinese and then English, so you can download this, but obviously you're most likely not from Indonesia, because you're probably from another country, so you want to check the Chinese embassy in your country, and they'll most likely have this kind of information. And there are loads of other scholarships here, so you can, I think you just need to really dig around and look around for all these scholarships, and there are loads and loads of different types, so it's well worth just checking and doing lots of research and finding the options and checking out forums. And you can also message some people who you know in China or try and find people in China who got a scholarship, if there are people on social media, and ask them about it. And yeah, so I'm going to introduce now some other scholarships that are university scholarships, so they're not the CSC scholarships, because the type B that I introduced before, the Shandong one, this is still a China government scholarship, but each university also has their own scholarship, which is actually funded by the university. Not each university, many universities have them. So I'm going to go through some of these and introduce more about the university scholarships and some of the ones that I know and how to apply for them and what it means as well. So this is a really useful platform which our company created, which is China Admissions. And on China Admissions you can search loads of programs, and you can find programs that you're interested in to study in China. And we put all this information out for free, so it's helpful for you. And you can also contact our chat support, AI chat support, if you have any questions. And you can also book a call with us, or you can also apply on our platform. Usually we don't charge fees for most of the universities, but we also have high level service if you want more support through the application process. We don't typically help scholarships, so we tend to just share the information about scholarships. But if you apply to universities on our platform, then you have the chance of getting scholarships as well. So there are many students who have applied on our platform and then they've got scholarships, so you can still get scholarships. You can basically get the admission letter from our platform, but we don't specifically apply for scholarships unless it's like an automatic application, or unless the university thinks you're awesome and they want to give you a scholarship, which does happen in some cases, especially for American students. If you're from America, or if you have some extra excellent profile, then there are opportunities to get scholarships. So you can see some universities here that mention scholarships. I know that many of the top universities, especially if they have higher tuition fees, like UIC, I think Zhejiang University International Business School, they have higher scholarships, so they may not be eligible because they may be above the limit for the China government scholarship. So this scholarship is only for certain tuition fees, like it only covers certain tuition fees for programs up to a certain level. But these ones, I will just go back to the original one that I was sharing with you, which is the Beijing Foreign Studies. And this is one that we have helped students get scholarships for. And there's another one actually, Asia, Europe, which is also quite a good one for scholarships. And they have, they have scholarships for their programs. So yeah, so for the BFSU program, they have multiple programs in the business school for business, and they have different directions. So this is like an example of some of the programs, like business, e-commerce, finance, and these kind of programs. So you can check and you can watch the video here, and we often have online open days, and you can watch and learn more about the university where they'll introduce it, and I'll see if they actually introduce the scholarship in here. So I know for these guys, for Beijing Foreign Studies University, so they're just introducing their different campuses. Okay, so this one doesn't specifically mention the scholarships, but we'll share some information about it as well. But they give scholarships to students who have high grades. So if you have high grades, typically in the top certain percentage, then you have a chance of getting a scholarship here. If you're like in the top 5% of the marks, usually in your area or your country or something like that, then you have a high chance of getting a scholarship at Beijing Foreign Studies University. And also Asia Europe Business School, they also have scholarships. We have a number of students who've applied on our platform and then they've gone on to get scholarships. So you can learn more about them here. They introduced about the university here, and then they should have some information about scholarships here. But what some of the universities also do is they give scholarships here to students like after the first year. So if you get a high score in the first year, then you have a high chance of getting scholarships after that. So that's quite a good thing to know. And then this university is called United International College, which is in Zhuhai, and they also have some scholarships. So you can watch the presentation here, where often they will go through about the scholarship, and you can learn more about how to apply for the scholarship. Usually, most of these university scholarships, they're given to students who apply as early as possible. So if it's kind of like as an early application for strong students, you're more likely to get a scholarship. So this is quite good to learn more about that. And so they have multiple levels of scholarship. So they'll have like a full scholarship for the first year for some students, 50% scholarship, and then smaller scholarships, and then they have like a accommodation scholarship. And so this is another one, which is Jiangsu University. So I think for every student that applies on China admissions, they will get a presidential scholarship, which is a percentage of the fees deducted. So you can see here this is very affordable compared to other options, and it only costs 2,700 per year, which is about, I think, 20,000 RMB, 18,000 RMB, something like that. This is a really well-known scholarship, which is really competitive as well. It's the Schwarzman Scholars Program, and this has many students applying for it. It's a full scholarship, so you can click through, and then you can go to the admissions information page and then apply. And this is a really competitive program. There's also the Yanqing Academy, the Yanqing Scholarship, which is a similar kind of program in Peking University, which is where I studied, and so you can learn more about that there, and that's a really good option as well. So if you're interested in studying in a master's program and you want like a general master's program in kind of business in China, then you can choose the Schwarzman Scholars or the Yanqing Academy Scholars and program, and that's really for students who are in the top level, highest achieving students. And got an itchy nose. So this is South University of Science and Technology, which is SUSTEC for short, and this is a really interesting university, which you can see. You can also watch the video here to learn more. I won't go into too much detail, but in this university, they give full scholarships to all the students who apply. But the only challenge is like this, because they have many bachelor's programs, but the only challenge with this is that it is really, really competitive, because you have to have an excellent level. It's very competitive in China, and the Chinese students have a very high great entry requirements. They have a very high level, or especially of maths and sciences. And so if you're applying as an international student to this university, you have to have the same level as other students. And so, yeah, basically if you get accepted, you have a very high chance of getting a scholarship. I mean, you will get a scholarship if you get accepted in this university. And this is also another one as well, Westlake. So they have some excellent scholarship opportunities, and this is in Hangzhou, and it's a very strong university as well, which you can learn more about here, and you can click through to apply. And yeah, so that's some information about university scholarships. And so I'm just going to introduce now a bit more about our service and about China admissions. And then I'm going to go into introducing more about what you do when you come to China. And then I'm going to introduce I'm going to answer some of the questions that students have. So why do students want to study in China? For many reasons. One of them is it's the world's largest economy, second largest economy. The Chinese language and culture is really interesting. It's got really affordable living expenses, so even if you don't get a scholarship, it's going to be a lot cheaper than living in other countries like Europe or US. It's just you can live on much less in China, and it's extremely safe. A very, very safe place to live. But the challenge is that there are so many websites, and it's hard to find the correct information, and the application process can sometimes be not very easy to understand because it's a different country, it's a different culture, and people use different communication methods. So, for example, use WeChat, and everything is different. So we have this very simple to use online platform called China Admissions, which you can search programs and then apply and learn more about it. So why do students use China Admissions? Because it can help increase your chance of getting accepted, simplify and save time, so you don't need to waste so much time, because time is really, really valuable and you don't want to waste that much time. And we also give you excellent support, and you can contact us by phone, by email, and we can help you there. We also have a global platform called Global Admissions, which you can apply to. And this is some information about the application process. Just in general for universities, it's in the first stage you're going to do the background information, research programs, and then check out the deadlines and requirements. So we have a load of information there, and then when you're ready to apply, you can prepare the application documents, you can apply online, and some universities have an interview preparation. An interview which you can do, and then after you get accepted, then you will choose between your options, and then you can then choose arrive in China. So you can, on our platform, you can use the free service, which is just apply on our platform, or you can use a higher level service, which we give you extra support and consulting throughout the process, just to help you check documents. Students usually ask for that when they want to have more support, such as to help get into top university, like really competitive university, or if they want help to prepare the documents and help with the personal statement, help improving it, helping to prepare for interviews and things like that. So the first step, you can choose programs, then you can apply online, and there's an application fee for most of the universities. And then after that, you can then enroll in China, and we help you each step of the way. So we have many examples of students from all over the world that we've helped study in China, and it's really meaningful to be helping so many students to study in China. This is an example of a student who applied to many programs by herself and got rejected to all of them, and then applied to loads of programs through China Admissions on our platform, and then got accepted to all of them. And this is quite sometimes it can be hard to know what makes you get accepted or not, and we just have so much experience helping thousands of students getting into Chinese universities, so we can just help to check everything before it's submitted and give you feedback to help maximize your chances, which is so valuable because you don't want to be wasting a year of your life applying again. And you also if you can get into a top university like Peking University, or if you can just get into any university that's a bit better, it can actually completely change the trajectory of your life. So it's really worth getting into a top university or as good as university as possible, or just getting the advice about which is the right university for you. And so it's really valuable to have some support through your process. And so we also, because we realize there's a big problem, there's not enough information online about studying in China, so we have lots of articles and information online so you can learn more about what it's like studying in China. Scholarships like this video I'm creating, so you can learn more. And then you can check out China Admissions. We also have a YouTube channel with loads of over 1,000 videos about China as well. And then this is the information about our platform, links as well. So I will also put link to this in the comments in the description, so you can also check out more about it in the description. So yeah, that's a bit about our service. And so if you're interested in using our platform or using our application service, you don't need to for scholarships. But if you want to apply to the university without a scholarship, or if you want to get accepted, then you can use our service, or you can use our higher level service if you just want to get into a top university and that you want more help on that. Or if you actually just want some advice about scholarships, you can still book a call with us, and we can help you, and we charge for that call, but it can still be valuable to help, and we will also help you the best in giving you support on how you can maximize your chance of getting accepted to a scholarship. So this is also a guidebook. After you've got accepted, this is a guidebook I'm going to share now about some articles and some things about coming to China. And so this is like a message about I studied in China, and it changed my life, and I think it's amazing to have this opportunity to study abroad. And if you explore, you're going to open your mind, it changes your mindset, so it's really valuable. So this is some information about our service, our platform, and our values. And this guide has so much information about all of the things you need to know about immigration, what you do when you arrive, basic Chinese, and finances, because a lot of people are asking about that, and accommodation, because you want to have a good accommodation when you come in. So before arriving, you want to apply for the Chinese visa, which is actually much easier than many other countries. It's quite efficient. It can take some time to get the appointment, but when you get the appointment, it's fast and easy. And I think the visa appointment for China is just very efficient, one of the most in the world. And you just need to, when you've got the acceptance letter from the university, you just go to the embassy in your country and you get the application, you apply there. And then you don't need to pack too much, because there's so many things you can buy in China for really cheap. So you can just, whatever you think is needed. They may have a different plug to your home country, but you can always get that kind of stuff when you arrive. And I never really thought about. You don't need to bring too much as a student. And when you book flights, you can check out some good websites online. There's loads of good websites between your country, and you might need to prepare. You probably want to make sure you leave enough time for it, and if you know people from your own country who are also going as well, maybe you can fly together. And one of the things that I would think about when you first arrive is where are you going to stay when you first arrive. And if you're staying in a university, then many universities will have a pickup service where they can pick you up. And but if you're arriving in the middle of the night, I really encourage you to not arrive in the middle of the night, because then it's just easier if you're arriving in a new country in the daytime, and they're much more likely to it's much easier to get into the accommodation in the day. But if you're arriving in the night, or if you don't have guaranteed accommodation, then you can just book a hotel for 3 or 4 nights when you arrive on a few different websites. So that can be a good idea to do that. Because sometimes when you're just arriving in the university, and especially if you arrive at a certain time of night, or anyway at that time, it's like super busy. So many students registering for dormitories. So it could be a good idea just to stay in a hotel nearby, so you don't have to. It's just really easy check-in, and there's not like loads of students at the same time checking in. But anyway, if you decide just to go straight to the university dormitory, you can just have some backup hotels in case you want to change your mind when you arrive. You can just go to a hotel for a few nights, and then just share your details with everyone, and make sure you have contact details. And you can check if your phone will arrive in China, if your phone will work in China. Otherwise, you can just get a SIM card when you arrive. You'll need your passport to get a SIM card. And when you arrive in China, you'll need all these different apps, such as WeChat and probably VPN as well. So you can just download some of these things before you come. I definitely recommend getting WeChat before you arrive. And you will also want to get insurance. For insurance, there's the standard insurance that the university will sort you out with when you register, which is usually the Ping An insurance. And the other options is you could also upgrade to certain other kind of insurance that if you want a higher level yourself, which I think in most cases probably not necessary for students, but it's up to you if you want to get something more. But one thing I would recommend in China is you can get health checks, quite comprehensive health checks, but you've already done it for the medical exam, so you may not need it, but there are some quite good medical checks that you can do in China, which is quite good. And then this is some information about the cultural difference between China and the West. If you're from the West, they're more subtle, more high context, they're quite polite, and harmony is important. Relationships more collectivist. Dining, meals, you usually have food that you share in one central plate. You don't have one dish each. And things are usually flexible. It's not like super punctual sometimes. So they really value flexibility, and that's quite interesting. So anyway, there's a lot of information here. So about how to learn Chinese, about registration when you arrive, and accommodation options as well, which you can think before you come. And you can check out this guide, and it has information about how to open a bank account as well, which you can do when you arrive, or you can get a local Chinese person to help you, or the university. Often people will all go together to open a bank account. This is what I mentioned about WeChat. It's like the big app. It's like WhatsApp in China, so you definitely want to get it. And then we also have loads of other tips as well you can check out. And then this is all about the living costs in China, and it's usually is quite this is an information about the price, so there's like lots of different information there, so you can work out what you can expect. And it's a really good idea before you come to have a kind of budget, so you can work out what's the cost you expect, and how much you're likely to spend every month is a good thing to work out before you come. And look forward to Chinese food. It's really tasty, and this is all about transportation. It's very safe, very good environment, and check. I think food is usually quite safe, but you also want to be careful about some parts. And some tips on how to study, because you're in China to study, and there's some regulation about working, so you want to make sure to abide by the regulation and stay up to date with it as well, about what the situation is as well in China. And they also have some really cool festivals, and so I won't go into too much detail about that. So you can check this out on the guide. And so I'm just going to now go through to answer some of your questions. So let me check on the questions from previous videos. So I may have already answered some of these, but so the website link is here. The website link is here, so you can check it out. Campus China or CSC China, but I think it's actually the same website. website. And then I think the URL may change it. Yeah, so this is like, but it's the same website basically. And let's see some of the comments here, and I can answer them. Yeah, can you apply to more universities if you create a CSC application? I think so. I actually don't know if you can apply or not, so you want to check that. And I will check the comments on this video as well. So this is a video you can also watch, which goes through in more detail about all of the step-by-step on the application process. So I think I've actually answered most of these questions. Can I get a scholarship in undergraduate programs in Chinese language without having HSK 3? I think all the Chinese language, no, all the scholarships for undergrad need. I actually don't know exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think it's actually free to apply, so you can just try applying. But I think you can research this and check it first. But at the same time, HSK3 is actually not. I'm not sure exactly how much time it would take. So HSK3 is like 600 words, so 600 characters. So yeah, it takes about it takes some time. It probably takes about 6 months full-time study to get to that. So you could, or a bit less, depending on how fast you study. So 6 to 8 months probably. So it's yeah, I'm not sure exactly about that question. So I think I've answered most of the other questions. So if you have any other questions, you can also add the comment here as well. Any similar questions coming up. And so yeah, I hope that was helpful. I wish you the best of luck in your application, and I'll just go over this guide. Where is it? Yeah, so this is the Shanghai University guide, so I'll just go through it. And then this mentions the types of scholarships. This is quite a comprehensive guide, and so they have a few different scholarships. So this mentions the scholarship categories, and then the scholarship details. So this is like how to contact, this is about the university, this is eligibility, this things I've already gone over. Yeah, so you need HSK3 level, HSK3. And then this mentions all of that. So yeah, I think all of the information is out there, you just need to check it out. And then you can also ask these universities, like if you want to study in this university, which is a good one in Shanghai, you can also contact them. At the same time, I think the #1 most popular city to study is Shanghai. So if you're applying to study in China, you can choose multiple cities maybe if you want to increase your options. So maybe Shanghai, Tianjin, Beijing, they're the most popular. So you can also consider other cities that are not the most popular. Maybe there are more opportunities there. And I think especially for smaller cities, there may be more. There's definitely less living costs. So if you're looking to save money, then you can go to a smaller city, and they may have higher chances of scholarships and less tuition fee. So here is some information about scholarships, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'll answer in future videos, and I wish you the best of luck. Apply as early as possible, and check out some of the other videos here about how to get scholarships and some guides. Alright, cheers guys.